I'd like to call to order the Woodstock Village Board of Trustees meeting on June 26th at 5 p.m.
I'd like to call to order the Select Board meeting, June 26, 2025 at 5 p.m. Additions and deletions to the agenda.
Yeah, I'd like to add one. I'd like to add the IT contract for approval. It's been in the booklet, so the boards are familiar with it.
Right.
Due to time constraints tonight, I would like to add it underneath the town village police coverage contract.
Okay.
Okay.
Citizens' comments.
Yes, thank you. Should I take a seat here?
Yes.
Excellent. Good evening. My name is Nicholas Selden. I'm a resident of the town of Woodstock, and my business is located within the village of Woodstock. And as a taxpayer, I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about true facts, given that one of the agenda items is Municipal Manager Eric Duffy's annual performance review. It needs to be a matter of public record that several past and present employees of Woodstock have accused Mr. Duffy of vindictive conduct, which has resulted in complaints, resignations, and unlawful demotion, and massive financial exposure for taxpayers. I am going to read into the public record an excerpt from one employee's resignation letter, which she provided to all of you, and you did absolutely nothing about it. You also did absolutely nothing about an email that you received from another employee who resigned because of Mr. Duffy's conduct. You did absolutely nothing about a petition that Ann Swanson submitted to you, which was signed by Woodstock residents and members of Woodstock's workforce who called upon you to address fabrications that Mr. Duffy and Sergeant O'Keefe were spreading about Chief Joseph Swanson in a bad faith effort to humiliate him, all because Sergeant O'Keefe wanted the chief job and Mr. Duffy decided that Chief Swanson was too independent for a king's liking. You have not held Mr. Duffy accountable. I would like to now turn to the resignation letter that was submitted by a lovely local woman who intended, but for Mr. Duffy's unprofessional behavior, to be a long-term employee at Town Hall. I'm not going to name her, but you know who I'm referring to. One of the questions says, what is the primary reason for your departure? Answer, management and leadership. Question, please provide additional details. Answer, my reason for leaving is simple. Eric does not care or appreciate his staff. We are all expendable and he will not talk to us when we want to voice concerns. I have witnessed firsthand how he's treated me and other staff, and it certainly leaves something to be desired. Next question. Do you feel there were adequate channels for providing feedback and raising concerns during your tenure? No. Next question. Please explain why not. Answer. Overall, the communication at Town Hall needs to improve. Things are often not clear or not communicated at all. Eric needs to be more approachable and willing to listen, and he needs to learn to put his phone down when staff are trying to speak to him. Next question. How would you rate the work environment at Town and Village of Woodstock? Answer, poor. Question, were there any specific aspects? Answer, I appreciated the overall laid back environment as well as working with all my coworkers. However, due to the majority of the staff in town having issues with management, it led to a very toxic environment due to people being frustrated, angry, and devalued. Question, please provide any additional comments or suggestions. Answer, I enjoyed working for the town as a whole, but the poor management and declining work environment combined with a very obvious lack of want to fix things from management does not feel good. I would suggest leadership training or coaching for Eric. Question, would you be interested in an in-person exit interview? Answer, yes. Who conducts the in-person exit interview? The subject of her complaints himself. He conducted the exit interview. How intimidating must that have been for a woman to sit across the table and face the person that she just wrote some very harsh critiques about? And what does Mr. Duffy do? He takes notes during that conversation, but he doesn't take personal responsibility because I have his notes from that conversation and they're right here. And nowhere within these notes does Mr. Duffy mention anything about his leadership issues, her complaints about him, nothing, trying to sweep it right under the carpet. The reason that Mr. Duffy became hostile to the women I mentioned is that they dared to tell him that town hall employees wanted to meet with him over the fact that he was not placing women into positions of authority, and that upset the king. Like he has done to other employees, Mr. Duffy went out of his way and spent an enormous amount of time while we pay his salary to create a toxic environment to get rid of Chief Swanson. He and Sergeant O'Keefe published lies to the media and republished those lies under oath even after he knew for a fact that a unanimous no confidence vote never occurred at Woodstock Police Department. And as you will see, as part of the lawsuit that has been brought against you, Sergeant O'Keefe and his minority of whiners are guilty of everything that they accused Chief Swanson of, except maybe for mismatched socks. Mr. Duffy did not like that the Vermont Standard wrote articles accurately describing his actions regarding how he handled Chief Swanson, who I would like to add is a town hero. Out of spite, Mr. Duffy apparently chose to eliminate the Vermont Standard from being Woodstock's newspaper of record without a public hearing, without public input. He took that business right out of Vermont and gave it to a newspaper company out of New Hampshire. You recall a few months ago, we read a letter to the editor stating that Mr. Duffy chose not to use a local locksmith for the town hall in spite of years of using this gentleman, and instead went with an out-of-area business. He just doesn't get it. Mr. Duffy creates toxic work environments for those he wishes to oust, while he abuses his power to protect those he deems in his inner fold. For example, his friend Jill Davies recently stole one of my Fire Eric Duffy signs. And when I went to confront her, she nearly hit me with her car. And I went to the police department and I made a report about this very serious incident. And Mr. Duffy and Sergeant O'Keefe swept it right under the rug, just like Mr. Duffy did when his assistant left a nasty, illegal, threatening note on my car. This is the most corrupt local government I have ever seen. And in closing, I would ask that Mr. Duffy tender his resignation. Thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none.
We're going to move on to the village purchase of one police vehicle. Have we all read through it? Hey, does anyone have any questions? Okay, then I would make the motion that we proceed with the contract as presented. Is there a second? Any discussion?
I just had one clarification,
Yeah.
and actually, just could you come up? I just wanted to clarify, the reason that we're getting this is we are not getting an additional car. This is a replacement. Two previously purchased cars are not working. And so you're basically getting, my understanding is a refund on the old car and then to pay for this new car. So that's not additional money that we're spending. This is going to end up being a wash. So this is not additional money. Is that correct?
Yes, they agreed to pay back the entire amount that we originally paid for the car. So we're gonna get a check for the full amount that was used for that car.
And this includes outfitting the car with all.
Yes.
Okay. But thank you. This was already publicly stated in this meeting, but thank you for repeating it. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Now we're on to town and village police coverage contracts. And
We're doing Reddit.
everybody,
Any discussion from the select board?
any discussion from the trustees? Question, Byron.
Good evening, Byron Kelly and Woodstock. We're in Ireland. Sorry to bring this up or to interfere with it. I spoke back on, I think, the 29th of May, of which we're going to talk about the minutes tonight, and I think the minutes were not accurate in what I stated at that point. At that point, one of the discussion points was the police contract, which I was hoping to see it or copy it, and then I referred to some problems I saw with it. And also that I don't think that it should be renewed at this time. I don't have a problem with it being extended on a month to month. But if it's going to, you think it's going to be voted on tonight, did the citizens see what the contract is?
What we are voting on, it is a month to month, by the way.
It is.
It is
Month to
month to month.
Okay,
And it is online.
because I still have some issues that I'd like to discuss.
And it's online.
Thank you.
Roger.
Just a point of clarification. I have seen this contract, Roger Logan, Woodstock. I have seen this contract. I advocated for it. And she sent it to me. Or she sent me a link actually. So, and I read it and I am very happy that you did it as a month to month. I think that gives us time to start looking at operations of our police department and making sure that we're getting the most for our money and that we're utilizing those resources as efficiently as possible. So thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay.
Well, I'd make a motion for us to approve the town and village police coverage contract as presented on a month-to-month basis and as we've all received. Second discussion. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No.
For the select board, I'll move that we adopt the police protection and with local contract as stated.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Oh, we pass with the IT one.
Yeah. I'll wait till Lisa gets.
Next. Hi, Robert.
No, it's further down. Right on, that's the first one, yeah, it's the lower, yes. As the board knows, we've had a IT contract with Hanover, New Hampshire for the last 2 years. They decided to kind of reevaluate how they want to do their IT services. They're not offering any shared services anymore. So for the last 6 months, myself and our staff have been talking to vendors, both locally, regionally, to try to figure out what's the best next step for Woodstock. We met with about 8 different vendors, got about 8 different quotes. The high end came in around $90,000 a year. The low end is what we have in front of us today, which is Dataman and Silhouette. I feel like Woodstock probably needs to be somewhere in the middle, around $50,000 to $60,000 a year to actually be where we need to be for IT services going forward. However, the budget does not allow for that. And so what we have in the budget this year is about $32,000. There is a cost savings with the switch from the permanent software we made and double rest to the new software. So my suggestion for the board tonight is to approve the Dataman contract, which would be a 1-year contract. Can be extended at the end of next year. I think it's total is about $34,000 for the year. They'll be able to start immediately on July 1, and allow us to kind of have a larger discussion during the budget season on what we want to do with IT going forward, how much investment we want to put into our IT services. So that's my recommendation for the board tonight. Happy to take any questions or comments you have.
Questions?
When is the current contract end?
June 30th. And Hanover has been willing to extend that contract with us for emergency services, if there's any gap in coverage. But the hope is that we can work the data in for July 1, and they told us they could start emergency service for us on July 1.
I was just going to mention that Dataman, I know Dataman provides the services for Pomfret as well, and they've been very happy with it, though I think their IT needs are different by magnitude from ours. So.
They've also started working with the sheriff's office, I believe in April of this past year as well. So they're very well going to work with different municipalities and other organizations around here. Still away, which were, it's on a recommendation, a little more expensive, a little more intense. They work with Two Rivers currently as well. So both are very local organizations.
And the exact amount is 34,800.
Correct.
Okay, is there a motion to approve data way as the IT contract beginning July 1st?
I'll move we approve data man at the contract for IT.
For a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the data man contract as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay, motion approved.
Next up is procurement policy. So this is just and I will apologize, we made some changes this morning after we got the feedback from some board members. So what's in the package a little bit different than what will be voted on, but hopefully everyone got a chance to review it today. Just some guidelines for how would you go about permitting services or purchasing need going forward. It would just be a vote by the board and it'll be part of our policies moving forward. Ideally, this would be a large part of the financial policies that we'll put in place once we have time to go through and update everything. But I think it's a good step to kind of codify this moving forward.
For a motion from the select board to approve the procurement policy.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll make one amendment. Sue just thought that it's not procurement policy, it's without an R, so I'm going to add the R.
Yeah.
Procurement policy.
Procurement.
Nice, good catch. So we're going to quick change. You're the lawyer.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the procurement policy as presented. There's second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved.
The audit vendor.
Yeah, so going forward, clean up some stuff. So we did an RFP this year for new auditing services. The RFP went out, I believe, in April. We've only got one response, which is the current firm we've been using. In conversations with other municipal managers, this is unfortunately not unusual here in the Upper Valley, where some towns have actually decided not to do RFPs, knowing they won't get any responses. So it's kind of a lack of options for us overall. The firm we have been using in the past has been doing a very good job. The last year is much slower than we would have preferred. So in this RFP that they presented to us, they agreed to have the audit completed by December. And in conversations with them, they also agreed in the contract to have a waiver to get out after 1 year if we are not happy with their services. So if they continue to not perform the way we want to or are delayed, next year we can do an RFP and kind of do some more solicitations. And again, the price is right. The price they quote is within our budgeted amount. So to go outside of that, we'd have to find extra funds to go into that. And there's plus minuses for using a firm or not a firm that you've used in the past. The pluses, they know you, they know the history. The cons is they know you, they know the history. They're not going to dig as deep as you want to. So that's kind of the twofold. But right now it's the one that our response to RFP, there's nothing wrong with, their request. So my recommendation is that we move forward with them for another, I believe it's a 5-year contract, but we can get out each year if we want to.
How much of an increase is it over last year?
I don't have the exact difference, but it's probably a small 3 to 5% increase. And also based it on hours, so it depends on how much they have to work, so that'll change. And if there has to be a single audit as well.
Is it possible to, next year, reach out to VLCT to see if they have any recommendations for firms as well?
We can, yeah, I will say for the record, I have a town manager list of about 40 or 50 different town managers in the Upper Valley. Reach out to all of them.
They're all in the same boat.
All in the same boat. And the only option is a firm from Boston, which would be more expensive, and obviously outside Vermont. So,
Is there a motion, the select board, to approve the vendor contract for the audit?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to, for the trustees to approve the audit services contract as presented by Budget, Janet, and Pro Wisdom. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So last thing on votes, my contract states that I should have a review by June 30th every fiscal year. We never reached that goal. As I've been here, we're not gonna reach that goal this year. But I think it was important just for the board to set a date in a public meeting. So then people know that I agreed to have it postponed past June 30th. Whoever saw it, they would work on. I believe in the past, the boards have sent questions to the department heads. So I would probably request maybe a 3-week at minimum, time between now and then for the, have a review, but I'll leave it up to the board to discuss.
Well, actually, the questions have been sent out. We're just trying to-
Oh, go ahead, see?
Yeah. You want to
But
do
you're
it?
never around now.
Want to do it at the select board meeting or before the next select board meeting?
Eric is,
We moved that one to the 4th week of July, correct? So it's July
yeah.
22nd.
What about do you have a trustees meeting the 8th? That's a second Tuesday.
Yeah,
We do.
You want to do it the 8th?
Beforehand, so like 5:30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
What's the date, sorry?
The 8th?
July 8th.
That work?
Yeah.
Work for everyone else?
Would you say 6?
6 o'clock?
Depends how much time you all want.
Earlier the better.
Yeah,
6 o'clock is fine.
What time's your meeting?
6:30. You can do 5:30?
Yeah.
Yeah. 5:30?
Yeah, let's do 5:30. That way if we finish up, we can go. So you can start your meeting early.
Never happened.
How about 5:45? All right, 5:30.
5:30.
So I'd maybe
Do we need a
make a,
vote?
I would make a motion, yeah, make it official.
I'll make a motion to have,
I'm sorry, Robert, do you
Would it
have?
be permissible for me to make a comment?
Yeah.
At this point? Okay, on this topic. I just want to get,
Your name is?
oh, sorry, Roger Logan, Woodstock, Vermont, right out there. I just want to, say as a citizen that, consider this my review essentially of both boards and Eric as town manager. I'm very happy with the professionalism and the level of creativity, the tremendous amount of work that you're all putting into this. I know it's not easy. I know there are challenges like people who, like me, who come and browse. But my performance review for all of you is that you're doing a great job, and I hope you keep doing it. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So I would make a motion to approve July 8th at 5:30 for the municipal manager's annual review day. The second is a
Second.
motion.
Oh, I thought we were going to-
Can't make the motion.
Okay. I'll move that we do for the select board, the manager's review, July 8th at 5:30.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
He's already sent out.
And for the trustees, I'll move that the annual review date for the municipal manager be at 5:30 on July 8th. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, 2 seconds. Oh, all those in favor say aye.
All right,
We need to go into executive session.
yeah, so we had 2 things on discussion, review of goals and objectives, and a discussion on funding for village and town operations. I think we have about 5 minutes before we should be in executive session, so I don't want to table these and.
Let's table.
Let's table
let's
until,
table it.
July 8th.
Telling me.
I'll wait.
Okay, so we
We
ready?
should, executive session.
Yeah. So I'd like to, for the trustees, I'd like to make a motion that the premature general public knowledge regarding the town's pending litigation would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage. So I move that we enter executive session based on VSA 313.
To the, keep going, the,
Oh, that's a second motion.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's fine, yeah.
We have to vote on this first. All those, is there a second? On any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and next, I would make a motion that we enter into executive session under VSA 313 to discuss the town's pending litigation case number 25CV 10824. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries.
I would like to have a motion.
I'll make a motion for the select board that we enter into executive session under the grounds that the premature general public knowledge regarding the town's pending litigation would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second motion that we move into executive session under 1 VSA 313 to discuss the town's pending litigation case docket number 25CV 10824.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.